not gonna go to the final club meeting yet. No, we can walk with Natsuki. Isn't it kind of weird how the three of us live so close together? Talking about you, me, and Sayori? Yeah. Like, what are the odds half the people in our club would live in the same area? Pretty good, apparently. Actually, speaking of our proximity, do you two ever spend time together outside of meetings? Now that you mention it, not really. All four of us get together a few times before you joined, but that's about it. Or got together a few times before you joined, but that's about it. We do message each other sometimes, though. I see. Why, does Sayori want to hang out more? Who knows? Ugh. You look awfully serious for someone acting like they don't care. Don't let my poor facial structure fool you. I genuinely don't know the answer to your question. Sayori just has a tendency to feel anxious about her relationship with people. Seriously? And here I thought that girl didn't worry about anything. She may come across that way, but humans aren't such two-dimensional creatures, unfortunately. Is this coming from the guy whose personality has all the depth of a calculator? Well, perhaps I'm not the best person to speak on these things, but if there is one other human being on this earth who I somewhat understand, it's Sayori. That's not very convincing, given how you can never take a hint. Natsuki mumbles this before letting out a sigh. So you're basically asking me to be better friends with Sayori, right? Huh? What gave you that idea? Are you kidding me? You literally couldn't have been more obvious. No, I really didn't. Fine, since you keep insisting. The girls in my class have been talking about a new cafe that opened over in Nagoya, I guess. Maybe Sayori would want to go there with him. Maybe Sayori would want to go there with me. Nagoya, huh? Isn't that kind of far? Pfft, traveling is just another part of the experience. You seem awfully excited for someone who was acting reluctant less than a minute ago. Only because I've been wanting to visit this place for like 2 weeks now. Oh? I'm guessing trendy cafes don't really rank very high on Yuri's list of travel destinations. Do you even need an answer? And Yuri's not the only person I hang out with, you know? Yeah, you're very popular, we're all impressed. Don't you think you're invited too, just because Sayori is going? The last thing we need is a pervert tagging along and spoiling our fun. I would never dream of it. Even though she hasn't actually asked Sayori yet, Natsuki now seems hellbent on the two of them going together. Spite may not be the most desirable motivation, but I've got no complaints if the end result is Sayori having fun. Everyone's already tending to their own devices, so... Monika? Monika has her arms stretched far into the air. Monika has her arms stretched far into the air as I approach her desk. Do me a favor and don't limber up well in plain sight. Not while I'm still traumatized from our race anyway. Yeah, don't be so dramatic. You say traumatized, but you put up a much better effort than most people would have. Only because I didn't want to risk giving those biting insults of yours any more ammunition. Please, calling them biting is nothing short of an exaggeration. Gnawing maybe, but certainly not biting. She nods her head a few times, as though this distinction required any amount of deep thinking. Honestly, do you actually hear yourself when you speak? Of course. My words are far too important to let slip by unaccounted for. The fact that you can say that with a straight face makes me think this whole arrogant school idol persona of yours is more than an act. Perhaps you're just insecure about how different our values to society are. Hardly. My future as a stay-at-home husband has far more value than anything try-hard elite like you could do, after all. Oh, how so? By assuming a rule our society largely ignores, I'll be increasing the awareness that people are free to choose their own lifestyle instead of simply following shaped by the demands of others. Okay. This will pave the way towards increasing the personal liberties of each and every individual residing in our nation. You wouldn't be remiss in calling me a revolutionary. There's an extended silence as Monika's monkey brain has trouble processing such a high IQ plan. Considering all the mental gymnastics it must have taken to turn being lazy into revolutionizing Japan, I'm not sure whether to praise you or recommend visiting a shrink. Such a recommendation would be understandable. They say a thin line is all that separates genius from madness after all. I'm not sure whether you're joking or if you're just if your rationalize everything program has finally gone rogue. Unimpressed by my grand scheme, Monika brushes me off in favor of her studies. You're not intentionally trying to sabotage your relationship with Sayori by frequently spending time with me, are you? The hell? Monika poses this question as though it was perfectly normal. What are you talking about? Does your ignorance of the situation mean my assumption was wrong? Assumption? Don't tell me you genuinely believe my reason for studying with you during meetings is to somehow spite Sayori. Not entirely, no, but I figured you at least had a general understanding of the effect your actions have had. Which are what, exactly? Seriously? Surely you don't need me explaining the thought process of your childhood friend. Of course not, but for the sake of conversation, let's pretend I do. Monika lets out a sigh before looking toward her vice president, who is currently talking to Natsuki on the opposite side of the room. You may already know this, but Sayori sees me as an amazingly perfect class star the same way most other people do. Though in her case, this perception of my status doesn't actually change how she treats me, or make her think she's somehow entitled to something just because we're friends. At least that's how things were before a certain troublemaker got thrown into the mix. Oh? Could you be a bit more specific about this person's identity? I'm having a hard time coming up with a name. This is serious, Mark. I'm not saying the situation is entirely your fault, only about 70%. 70? Shouldn't we both be at an even 50? Or should I assume that your club executives like playing favorites? Hardly. In fact, you're getting off easy by only being at 70. From what I've heard and seen, you're the one who's been leading her on for all these years. I'm gonna try arguing your side of things? Would you believe me if I did? Probably not. Well, there's your answer. But how does me joining the club throw a wrench into your friendship with Sayori? Jealous she has someone other than you she can spend time with? Wow, you're just full of jokes today, aren't you? That said, your idea of friend stealing isn't actually far off. You see, Sayori has expressed concern about me taking you from her. Of course, I've made several attempts at easing these anxieties, but my words don't exactly hold up when she sees us constantly spending club meetings together. Are you suggesting we stop then? Well, that would help settle her worries. A better solution would be for the two of you directly discussing the matter. Well, this is a first. I don't think I've seen you look so reluctant about having a conversation with Sayori. Because he's normally the one person who I don't mind speaking to. But things become a bit more complicated when we discuss our relationship and the way she feels about me hanging around other girls. Complicated, huh? And whose fault is that, I wonder? You've made your point, alright? I fully intend on bringing this issue up with her at some point before graduation. I just don't know how or when exactly. Even though my response is as vague and non-committal as possible, Monika's expression still softens upon hearing it. Well, I suppose putting things off should be expected from an avid slacker such as yourself. Glad we're on the same page. Just don't go taking too long, alright? Say there's no time like the present, which is especially true considering how quickly this semester has already gone by. I'll do what I can. Following this exchange, Monika and I return to our usual routine of studying for our entrance exams. Didn't know that was our usual routine. I thought we were just like hanging out and talking, but apparently we're studying as well. Alright, Yuri. Oh, this is, oh yeah, just for kissing and stuff. Literature club. Yeah, my appeal is like horrible with it. Yeah, it keeps decreasing. Like when you reach a certain high point, it like decreases and then like builds up again, or whatever. Or maybe it's because I'm already locked on Yuri's route that the others not constantly decrease no matter how much time I spend or something. I don't know. Let's talk to Sayori. Even though weathering the storm has been enough to move beyond our issues in the past, the situation hasn't been so simple. The few days Sayori would spend ignoring me whenever she got jealous were worrisome, but they never came close to making me feel this anxious. Our friendship was one of the only things keeping me going back then. If I were to lose it now... Upwards, Mark? Huh? An angry-looking Monika glares at me from the doorway. Upwards, Mark? Right. Not giving her request much thought, I stand up and make my way into the hall. Did you need something? I'm not even sure where to start. So let's begin by saying you're a moron. A fact I've been well informed of... Holy fucking shit. A fact I've been well informed of about ever since joining this club. I'm serious, Mark. The reason I called you out here is because Sayori told me what happened. Her irate expression suddenly makes a lot more sense after being told this. I see. Honestly, what part of bluntly rejecting her feelings seemed like a good idea? What do you mean? Like, yeah, maybe more tactful, but like, are you saying, are you suggesting that I should lie about my feelings towards Sayori, Monika? Is that what you're suggesting? Because that is like a 50 million times more horrible plan. And you did it out in public, no less. There was nobody there. We were outside, but there was nobody there. So, what the fuck are you talking about, Monika? Are you sure there's a brain in that thick skull of yours? I won't try making excuses. The situation could have been handled better. My lack of consideration is the reaction we are where we're at. Better is an understatement, and no one was under the impression this wasn't your fault. Still, even though my method wasn't ideal, this was bound to happen eventually. It needed to happen. Sayori was basing major life decisions purely on their proximity to me. Turning a blind eye and letting her continue would have been cruel. Well, wanting her to become more independent is understandable, but it doesn't make the way you told her any less terrible. Luckily for you, however, I just happen to have a personal stake in the happiness of your childhood friend. What do you mean? I mean, I plan on helping you two make up. Because she's your vice president. Because she's my friend. Oh? Honestly, could you at least try hiding your surprise? Sayori isn't just another girl who only orbits around me for her own personal gain. Class star, club president, genius, none of these titles matter to her. She treats me the exact same as she would anyone else. Which in my book means she's much too valuable to be left feeling disconflicted. Even though Monika usually sounds a little detached when speaking about others, these words come across as being entirely genuine. I see. Aside from the part where you called her valuable, I'd say we're mostly on the same page. Good, that means we can move on with my plan. Wait, plan? You mean you've already come up with something? Of course. Did you really think I'm the type who twiddles her thumbs while her club members suffer? Kinda. No? Don't sound so unsure. Sorry, back to your plan. Right, the first step was getting Sayori out of the club room and away from the others. Huh? Was? Yeah, didn't you notice she wasn't in there while you arrived? Seriously? Aren't you supposed to be the observant one? Cut me some slack, will ya? I've had a lot on my mind. That should have made her absence even more noticeable. She mumbles this under her breath while shaking her head. Well, my weakened perceptive skills aside, where exactly did you send her? Class 3A. I asked if she could go there and help me find these. Monika says this while pulling out a key ring fit with 3 distinctive different keys. Sayori is under the impression I lost these somewhere and will be reprimanded if anyone else finds them. Which is why I'm handing them over to you. If Sayori tries to flee when you show up, use these as a bargaining chip. That should at least buy you enough time to get a few words in. Can a few words really settle things between us? Only if you choose the right ones. I have some confidence, Mark. Nobody knows Sayori nearly as well as you do. And just remember, you'll be permanently barred from the literature club if you fail. She's right, I simply need to face Sayori with confidence. Wait, what? Barred? Monika, it's super cute that you think you can just ban me from the literature club. However, a purple-haired girl in this club would have an extremely strong word with you if you were to actually bar me from the literature club. And I'm pretty sure she has a very good point. A couple of very good, sharp, razor-sharp points. If you don't consider her words, Monika. So I don't nearly think you have the power you think you do. So I got some pretty amazing backup in my corner. Again, Monika, you've lost the war before it even started. I'm playing 7D chess. I'm 7 parallel universes ahead of you, Monika. You have no power here. Of course, our reputation would be in tatters if anyone found out we were harboring a friendship-wrecking troublemaker. Monika, honestly, why the hell are you... You're completely misconstruing what the fuck happened between Sayori and I. Sayori confessed to feelings. I said I don't reciprocate those feelings. That is what happens. Maybe a bit bluntly, but that is what happens. So maybe, yeah, in real life, sometimes a friendship can't handle that. That's just life, Monika. Like, don't try to make me out to be like some sort of evil villain. Because, number one, you weren't there. Number two, you've never had the guts to say anything like that to anyone. And number three, you like your entire life, your entire facade in this school is a massive lie. So I really don't, and so you know you have a habit of being dishonest with like pretty much everyone in the whole world in your entire life so far. So I don't really think you have any grounds to like talk to me about that sort of thing. And those are just 3 reasons I just came up with off the top of my head right now. So you know, don't even get started, Monika. Yeah, this went from getting help to getting blackmailed a lot quicker than I'm comfortable with. Just consider it an extra piece of motivation. And good luck, Mark, I'm counting on you. Following these uncharacteristically sincere words, Monika steps back into the club room, leaving me alone and with a clear goal. Even though her plan is about as bare bones as it gets, I appreciate the help. With this thought in mind, I brace myself before starting down the hall. Yeah. Anxiously sliding open the door, the first thing I spot is a coral-haired girl crouching near one of the desks. Yo, Sayori. Eh? She shoots up before turning around to face me. Mark, why are you... I was passing by and happened to see a student rummaging around in here. Monika sent you, didn't she? Said something about losing a set of keys. Well, I haven't been able to find them, so maybe I should go look somewhere else. There's no need. Huh? Saying this, I pull out the keyring out of my pocket. Monika actually sent me to search the entrance, where they were laying on the floor near our lockers. She told me to stop by this classroom once I'd found them, but didn't say why. Sayori is the one person I would never... Oh, Sayori is the one person who I never lied to, so I'm hoping she believes this as well. I see. I guess you should go ahead and take them back, huh? Monika's probably waiting. Not gonna happen. What do you mean? To be honest, Monika's blatant irresponsibility has caused me nothing but trouble these last few weeks. Which is why I'm tossing these keys out into the ditch somewhere. By tossing these keys out of the ditch somewhere seems like the perfect way to balance the scales. Tossing the keys in the ditch? Seriously, is that really the best idea I could come up with? Now Sayori is gonna think I'm one of those overly flamboyant biker goons you see on TV. However, I wouldn't mind leaving them in your care. For a price, that is. A price? What do you mean? Or what do you want? A conversation? Huh? You've been ignoring me ever since we visited the bookstore, both my text and in the club. So I figured forcing you into a corner was my best bet for getting what I wanted. Mark... Oh, a different sprite! That's really underhanded and mean. You're right, but I'm more than willing to go morally bankrupt if it means the two of us can be on good terms again. Good terms? An uncomfortable silence looms over us as Sayori's eyes stay locked on the far wall. You really don't love me? Romantically, I mean? Oh, Again, fucking... And you'd be happy if I went to college somewhere else? I would like for us to be in the same college, but, well... You wouldn't be sad if I went somewhere else? Somewhere far away? That's... If it improved your chances of living a comfortable and happy life, then I'd have no right to be... My blunder becomes immediately apparent as tears begin forming in the corners of her eyes. You really wouldn't care? No amount of rationalizing or trying to flip the question will improve the situation. Hell, being rational is what caused this mess to begin with. You seriously want to know? Her tears grow more prominent as she braces herself for the worst. To be honest, well, how do I put this? A sharp pain invades my chest as a violet concoction of my genuine feelings slams against years of repression. Let's see, I guess I could start with... What the fuck, did I just slap her? Oh. Are you daft? I mean, honestly. Of course I'd miss you, how could I not? How could anyone not? After spending all these years together, did you really think I'd be jumping for joy at the idea of you moving away and us never seeing each other again? If it were up to me, I wouldn't want you meeting, let alone spending time with other people. I mean, you were my friend first, right? Why should I let you go around random strangers who don't care about you nearly as much as I do? Care? Then why did you tell me to never eat lunch with you? Because one of us has to be responsible. I'd love to spend every ounce of my free time with you, whether it be during lunch, class, after class, whenever. But the idea of you getting ostracized by your classmates or having rumors spread about you, I wouldn't be able to live with myself if anything like that ever happens. How do you think I feel? You think hearing about how you spend breaks alone or how no one in your class knows your name makes me happy? People like me are better off alone, but the same can't be said for you. Enough! Stop trying to sacrifice yourself. Stop acting like you're some kind of awful human being. You're not. You're really not. Her voice cracks as the tears begin running down her face. I'm lucky, Mark. I have parents who love me. I have amazing friends who care about me. I've never felt the pain of losing a family member. Even though I take them for granted, they still exist. They still bring me joy. But you, after everything you went through... Sayori's crying intensifies once again. You deserve happiness more than anyone. Way more than someone like me. Even if you hate your parents, even if you say weird things, even if you don't care about other people. None of that is an excuse for you to be miserable, to keep carrying around so much pain. Why can't you just see that already? Why do you have to act so stubborn? The room falls silent with Sayori's light sobbing being the only exception. You're not the only one who cares, you know. I wanted it, too. To see you surrounded by friends, laughing, having fun. But the thought of getting left behind was scary, so I clung to you, hoping we would find these people together. Those people together. Even if I ended up falling in love with one of those people? That's Sorry, you don't have to answer. Though, I imagine the feeling is mutual. Huh? Even though I said you should try finding someone who could make you truly happy. Yeah, truly happy. The idea of another guy getting close and becoming intimate with you makes my stomach turn. To be honest, I'd probably try fighting him if he ever introduced us. Alright. But if he's really muscular, I'd still be upset, but would probably keep my hands to myself. You're such a wuss. Sorry, Sayori. Huh? I'm sorry for all the things I said, about how we shouldn't always be together. I should have been honest with you from the beginning. You don't right, you should have. Do you have any idea how upset I was? And now I feel bad for Monika too. Monika, how was she involved? Well, I may have called her last night. What's wrong with that? I was, kinda crying the whole time. Guess that explains Monika's death stare from earlier. Sorry, again, I know words aren't enough to make up for it, but still. You're right, they aren't enough. A stubborn, dense, big, dumb meanie like you shouldn't get off easy for making me sad. I agree. Which is why I'll totally understand if you want to tie me up and pour hot wax on my bare chest. Gah! Instead of a regulation elbow to the ribs, Sayori seems to have upgraded her technique into a pure, high-powered gut punch. You're gonna make me mad again. Many apologies. These serious moods just don't mesh well with my poorly developed personality. Honestly. If you saw me out with a group of girls from my class, how would you feel? And be honest. Jealous, probably. And if it were a group of guys? Still jealous, maybe a little angry. Do you know why you'd feel that way? Because you're important to me. How important? More than anyone else. So, you do love me then? Just not in a dating kind of way. She lets out an exasperated sigh before hanging her head. This sucks. Huh? I mean, we spent our whole childhood together, go to the same middle school, get accepted into the same high school, even join the same club. All that and you still didn't fall for me. Are you sure you like girls? What kind of question is that? I'm just saying, haven't you ever read a girl's manga before? Childhood friends who spend that long together always end up in a relationship. Like 100% of the time. Honestly, don't tell me you're gonna start talking like Kiba from now on. Huh? Kiba? Well, for what it's worth, I was properly in love with you back when we were younger. Though a lot of that feeling kind of stemmed from admiration. Nope, it was all charm. You were definitely smitten with me. If you say so. This is kind of awkward, huh? We did just have a shouting match about being in love. The real question now, though, is where should we go from here? What do you mean? Well, you did kind of confess having feelings for me. What's the standard operating procedure following these sorts of exchanges? How should I know? You're the only guy I've ever confessed to. That's a good point. Another wave of uncomfortable silence fills the room as neither of us can come up with the right words. Looks like now would be the best time to step in. There's a brief sign of mumbling before the door suddenly swings open. Hey there, glad to see both of you are still in one piece. Monika? What are you doing here? Well, the answer to that is a bit complicated, but I'd say my main reason would be lending a hand. Huh? You mean you came to help? That's right. Tell me, is eavesdropping considering helpful where you're from? Sorry about that, but I was only making sure things never got too out of hand. Guess she didn't have as much faith in me as she let on. And here I thought getting us alone together was step 2. Alone together? I thought Monika sent you here from the entrance without saying anything about me. The entrance? Monika glances between Sayori and me with a confused expression, before realizing the truth may have been altered a bit. Ah, right, we can go over the details later. The most important thing for right now is figuring out where the two of you want to go from here. Where we want to go? I'm assuming you're not keen on the idea of ending your friendship? Of course not! Me and Mark are, well, we're... Inseparable was a word often used by her parents when we were younger. Given how long we've been part of each other's lives, I'm inclined to agree with them. I see. Sounds as though you two already have a plan of moving forward. Well, total separation wasn't likely to happen regardless of whether we made up or not. The real question is, how should we address Sayori's confession? How to address her confession, huh? Why don't you just ignore it? Come again? I'm not saying you should just forget this turmoil ever happened, but I honestly don't see what has changed between you besides her feelings have been put into words. Feelings you've already known about for quite some time, correct? Well, yeah. See? The dynamic between you two doesn't necessarily have to change. Who knows? Being honest with one another may end up with you two growing even closer than before. That's an awful optimistic viewpoint, but still. Won't things be kinda, you know, awkward? Sure, for a little while at least, but in situations like these, feelings such as awkwardness and anxiety often go away with time. If the two of you are ever in a rut, I'll even step in again and to help get things going. Monika, thanks for the offer, but let's hope it never comes to that. I'm still not convinced you have a handle on how this whole friendship thing works. It's all the more reason for me to dive in and start learning properly. But don't you already have a ton of friends? Don't worry, Sayori, I'm only indulging in Mark's mental image of me. Instead of clarifying her point, Monika manages to confuse Sayori even more. Well, regardless of whether you plan on meddling or not, so long as Sayori and I can speak in good terms again, I'm satisfied. But you better be more honest with me from now on, and no more sacrificing yourself. I'm really gonna beat you up if you don't start focusing on your own happiness. Fine. But no more making major life decisions based around me, okay? And you're only allowed to date guys I can beat in a fight. That really narrows it down. So, you little punk! A sense of warmth and familiarity fills my body as I plop my hands onto her head and begin ruffling her hair. With today's drama having been resolved, the three of us begin making our way back to the club. Needless to say, we had a lot of covering up to do once we returned. No, it was sort of wholesome. I mean, again, it sucks when you have to go like, oh, what's it called? You know, like, she loves, the other person loves you, but I don't love them back, you know, but... Alright, I'll end it off here. Hope you Romans enjoyed it. Click the like button beneath if you did. Subscribe to join the Roman army, and I'll see you in the next one. See you later, Romans. Waleta. Oh my god! Wow! Waleta.